Hazrat Umar RA. Before his death, he mentioned the names of 6 distinguished companions and bequeathed someone from among them to elect the next Caliph. Ali was one of them. Before his death, he was the son of Ali. Commenting on, if the people make Ali their Caliph, he will be able to guide them on the right path. Al-Fitnatul Kubra, during Hazrat Umar's visit to Baitul Maqdas, Ali was told by RA. Replaced himself in Medina. Khilafat period. Hazrat Usman RA. After the martyrdom, the rebels killed Hazrat Talha, Zubair and Ali. Pushed to assume responsibility for the caliphate. Everyone vehemently refused. It is known through various narrations, Hazrat Ali RA. repeatedly refused this offer. Finally, the people of Medina Ali's death. He approached and said, "This post of Caliphate cannot remain empty like this. Currently there is no one more suitable for this position than you. You deserve it." At the insistence of the people, he finally agreed to accept the responsibility of the caliphate. However, he imposed the condition that my bay'at cannot be done secretly. This requires the consent of all classes of Muslims. A general meeting was held at the Prophet's mosque. All Muhajirs and Ansar Ali except 16 or 17 companions. Pledge of Allegiance. Hazrat Ali's death in a very complicated situation. The Caliphate begins. His first job after becoming Caliph was Hazrat Usman RA. Punish the killers. But the task was not easy. First, no one recognized the killers. Hazrat Usman's wife Hazrat Naila saw the killers. But he didn't recognize any of them. Muhammad bin Abu Bakr went to kill. But in the face of Hazrat Uthman's angry speech, he retreated. Muhammad bin Abu Bakr also did not recognize the killers. Second, Medina was occupied by thousands of rebels. They are Hazrat Ali's RA. Joined the army. But many Muslims did not realize this helpless condition of his. They are Hazrat Ali. Immediately near Hazrat Usman RA. Qisas, claims. Al-Mu'minin Hazrat Aisha is one of those who raised this claim. Talha and Zubair's RA. There were also distinguished companions. They are Hazrat Aisha. He marched from Makkah towards Basra with his army. Their supporters were more there. Ali also RA. He reached there with his army. The two opposing forces met on the outskirts of Basra. Hazrat Aisha Ali's death. Presented his claim to Ali also RA. He pointed out his problems. Since there was honesty and devotion on both sides, the settlement was settled. Hazrat Talha and Zubair went back. Aisha also started preparing to return. But there were rioters in both armies. So they are afraid of compromise. They made a well-planned attack on one side's camp in the darkness of the night. As a result, both sides got the idea that the opponent had attacked them under the guise of compromise. All-out war begins. Ali's death. When he told the matter to Hazrat Aisha. Be able to understand. Aisha RA. Returned to Medina from Basra. During the war, Aisha was the reward on the camel. In history, this war is known as Camel War. This battle took place in the month of Jamadi Sani, 36 Hijri. A total of 13,000 Muslims were martyred on both sides, including Hazrat Talha and Zubair, members of Ashara Mubashara. Of course, there are differences of opinion in this regard. Hazrat Ali RA, after staying in Basra for 15 days, he left for Kufa. The capital was shifted from Medina to Kufa. This camel battle was the first suicidal conflict of the Muslims. Many companions did not join the war. They were also saddened by this suicidal conflict. Ali's death. When the army left Medina, the people of Medina burst into tears. Hazrat Aisha, a compromise was reached. But the governor of Syria, Muawiyah. No resolution was reached. Hazrat Ali RA, he was dismissed from the post of governor of Syria. Hazrat Muawiyah RA. He sat down. Ali's death. He refused to obey the instructions. The gist of his speech was, Usman RA. He killed Ali until the case of murder. Don't accept being a caliph. Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Muawiyah in the month of Safar in the year 37 Hijri at a place named Siffin. A clash took place between the forces. This conflict was worse than the War of Camels. A total of 90,000 Muslims were martyred on both sides. Among them were the famous companions Hazrat Umar bin Yasir, Khuzaymah ibn Thabit, and Abu Amr al-Mazini. All of them are Ali's RA. On behalf of Muawiyah, martyred by the forces. Note that about Ammar bin Yasir, the Prophet said, Alas, a rebel group will kill Ammar. Sahih al-Bukhari, 27 eminent companions narrated this hadith. Hazrat Muawiyah is also a narrator of the hadith. Of course, Hazrat Muawiyah RA. He gave a different interpretation of the hadith. Despite all this, the matter was not resolved. In the last battle of Siffin, called Laylatul Har, Hazrat Ali's death. It was going to win. Hazrat Muawiyah RA. Realizing the sense of defeat, he called for reconciliation through the Holy Quran. His soldiers hung the Quran on the head of the spear and kept saying, This Quran will settle our conflict. A ceasefire was declared. Hazrat Ali's death. On behalf of Abu Musa Ash'ari RA. And Hazrat Muawiyah RA. Hazrat Amr ibn as Hakam or Salish was appointed on his behalf. The decision is that both parties will accept the joint decision of these two types. A large gathering of Muslims was held at a place called Dumatul Jandal. But after analyzing all the historical data, the conclusion that is found is that Hazrat Amr ibn as RA. Hazrat Abu Musa Ash'ari, the arbitral board, failed to establish peace as it withdrew from the decision it had reached at the last minute. Disappointed, the Muslims retreated from Dumatul Jandal. Then Ali RA. And Muawiyah RA. He made a treaty to stop the feudal bloodshed. From this day the Muslim Caliphate was basically divided into two parts. At this time, a new party called Karaji was born. At first they were Ali supporters. But later they began to propagate the belief that appointing a human being as a Hakam, or arbitrator in matters of religion is an act of blasphemy. Ali RA. Abu Musa Ash'ari. The caliphs of the Quran worked by accepting the Hakam. Thus Hazrat Ali has lost the validity of his claim of allegiance. They separated from Hazrat Ali. They were very extreme. Ali's death with them. A battle ensued and many people were killed. Abdur Rahman Muljam, Al-Barak ibn Abdullah and Amr ibn Bakr at-Tamimi, 3 men of this Kharijite sect, met in a secret meeting after the Battle of Narawan. After a long discussion, they came to the conclusion that Ali, Muawiyah, and Amr ibn al-As were mainly responsible for the internal strife of the Muslim Ummah. So these 3 people should be removed from the world. Decision Mutabik Muljam took responsibility Ali's RA. And Al-Barak and Amr took charge of Muawiyah and Amr ibn al-Asr respectively. They vow not to kill or die. The time of Far prayer on 17 Ramadan 40 Hijri is fixed for this work. Then Ibn Muljam went to Kufa, Al-Barak to Damascus and Amr to Egypt. Death. On the night of Friday, 16 Ramadan, 40 AH, the assailants started going to their respective places. Hazrat Ali RA during Far. As he was proceeding towards the mosque to call the people for prayer by saying as-salat as usual, Papatma ibn Muljam swung at him with a sharp sword and wounded him. He ordered to arrest the assailant while injured. He called his children and bequeathed them. He was martyred in Kufa on Saturday 17th Ramadan 40 Hijri after ruling the Caliphate for 4 years and 9 months. On the same day and at the same time when Hazrat Muawiyah was going to the mosque, he was also attacked. But it failed. He was slightly injured. On the other hand, Amr ibn al-As did not go to the mosque that day due to illness. Instead, the chief of the police force, Karaj ibn Husafa, was going to the mosque to perform the duties of imamate. He was killed thinking that he was Amr ibn al-As. Thus Muawiyah and Amr ibn al-As RA. Save your life. Hazrat Ali's death. Hazrat Hassan ibn Ali RA led the funeral prayer. He was buried next to the Kufa Jama Masjid. But according to another narration, he was buried in Najaf Ashraf. He was 63 years old at the time of his death. When the assassin Ibn Muljam was arrested, Ali RA ordered, "He is a prisoner. Make good arrangements for his stay and food. I can kill him or forgive him if I survive. If I die, you will hurt him just as much as he did me. Do not exaggerate. Allah does not love those who exaggerate." Tabakat, 3/35. Hazrat Ali RA ruled the Caliphate for 5 years. All areas including Mecca and Medina were under him except Syria and Egypt. As his time was spent in civil wars, no new territories were conquered. Hazrat Ali RA he was not succeeded by anyone else. People when his son Hazrat Hassan RA asked about choosing the Caliph, he said, "I am not ordering or prohibiting you in this regard." When another person asked, "Why are you not choosing your representative?" he said, "I want to lead the Muslim Ummah in the same way that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, left." Hazrat Ali's death. After the death of Dar al-Khilafah, the people of the capital Kufa, Hazrat Hassan elects the Caliph. He did not like the internecine strife and bloodshed of the Muslim Ummah. Because of this, when Hazrat Muawiyah invaded Iraq, he did not fight against Muawiyah. He thought it expedient to leave the power of the caliphate in his hands. Thus Hazrat Hassan's unprecedented sacrifice freed the Muslim nation from civil war. The year of his abdication from the caliphate is known in Islamic history as Amul Jama'ah, the year of unity and solidarity. After his resignation, Hazrat Hassan left Kufa and moved to Medina and died 9 years later in 50 Hijri. He was allowed to rule the caliphate for only 6 months. Hazrat Umar RA. Ali RA. He said about, "Ali is the best judge among us." Even the Prophet said, "Aktaham Ali, Ali is the greatest judge among them." Hazrat Umar RA noticed his correct decision. Said several times, "Lala Ali lahalaka Umar, if not for Ali, Umar would have perished." Ali RA considered himself equal to a common Muslim and was ready to excuse any mistake. Once a Jew stole his armor. Ali recognized the armor when he saw it being sold in the bazaar. He could have taken it by force if he wished. But he didn't. According to the law, the Qazi filed a case against the Jew in the court. Qazi was also a strict judge. He is Ali RA. He asked for evidence to support the claim. Ali RA. He could not give it. Qazi ruled the case in favor of Yehudi. The effect of this ruling was so great on the Jew that he became a Muslim. He commented, just like the prophets. Ali RA. Amrul Mu'minin brought me before the Qazi and the Qazi appointed by him gave judgment against him. Lived with family. After marriage started living in separate house. The need for livelihood arose. But where are the capital and materials? In the past he used to earn his living by working and sharing the booty. Hazrat Umar's death. His allowance is set at 5,000 dirhams a year when the age allowance is introduced. Hazrat Hassan said, at the time of his death, he left only 700 dirhams to buy a slave. Tabakat, 3/39. Livelihood of Anton Ali. No day is far from fate. Once he remembered and said, Rasulullah saw. At times, I have been tied with stones in my stomach due to hunger. Hiatus Sahaba, 3 of 312, even after becoming Caliph, he had to fight with hunger and poverty. But his heart was very wide. He would not turn away any needy person. Because of this, he had to stay hungry many times with his family. He was very polite. He used to do all the housework with his own hands. Always wore thick clothes. Also torn, clapped. He was the door of knowledge. People from far and wide came to him for enlightenment and found him shepherding camels, plowing land and making fields. He was so restless that from time to time he would just lie down on the ground. Once the Prophet said to him. Seeing this situation, he addressed, Ya Aba Turab, O native of the soil. So he got the title Abu Turab. Even after becoming Caliph, his simple life continued. Hazrat Umar's death. Matt always walked with a dura or stick in hand, admonishing the people. Al-Fitnatul Kubra. Hazrat Ali RA was a member of the Prophet's Khandan, who was the Prophet's SAW. Received education under direct supervision. Prophet said, Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Ali Babuha, I am the city of knowledge, and Ali is the gateway to that city. Tirmidhi, he was a Hafiz of the Quran and a great commentator. He also collected some hadiths. However, he was very aware of accepting hadith. If someone narrated a hadith to him, he would take an oath from the narrator. Tazkiratul Hafiz, 1 out of 10, he is the messenger of Allah. Narrated many hadiths and narrated many famous companions and tabi'i hadiths from him. During the era of the previous caliphs, 3 Muhajirs and 3 Ansars gave fatwas. Namely, Umar, Uthman, Ali Ubay bin Kabi, Mu'azi bin Jabal and Zaid bin Thabit. It is known in another narration from Masruq, Rasulullah saw. Among the companions who gave fatwa were Ali, Ibn Mas'udi, Zayd, Ubay bin Kabi, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Tabaqat, 4/167, 175. Ali was an eloquent speaker and a good poet. Kitabul Umda, Ibn Rashid, 121st, we get a diwan of his poetry. It has a total of 1,400 verses in many poems. According to researchers, many of the popular poems have been projected in his name. However, scholars have no doubt that he was a prominent figure in the world of Arabic poetry at that time. There is a collection of his speeches called Najul Balagha, which continues to bear the signature of his unparalleled eloquence. Tariq al-Adab al-Arabi, Dr. Umar Faraq, 1/309. Hazrat Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, Khatun, his first marriage was with as long as Fatima was alive, she did not remarry. Fatima married several times after her death. According to Tabari's narration, 14 sons and 17 daughters were born to him. Hazrat Fatima gave birth to 3 sons Hassan, Hussein, Muzan and 2 daughters Zainab and Kulsum. Muzan died in childhood. According to Waqiti's narration, his lineage continues from only 5 sons, Hassan, Hussein, Muhammad, Ibn al-Hanafiya, Abbas, and Umar. Imam Ahmad R. said, Ali RA. Rasulullah saw about dignity and virtue. From what has been narrated, it did not happen about any other companion. Al-Isaba, 2/508, as many of his qualities have been described in history, it is not possible to highlight his quiddity in this short article. Prophet he prayed for him and his children many times. Prophet he said, no one will love you except the believers and no one will envy you except the hypocrites. Hazrat Ali, a companion of Hazrat Dura ibn Damra Ali Kinani came to Hazrat Muawiyah one day. Muawiyah told him Ali's RA. Asked to describe the qualities. At first he refused. But Muawiyah gave a long description under pressure. In that, Ali's death attributes emerge beautifully. Historians say that after hearing this description, everyone present at the meeting with Muawiyah burst into tears. Then Muawiyah commented, by Allah, Abul Hassan, Hassan's father, was like that. Al-Istiyab, 3/44.